Would I imply anything so outrageous? Certainly tongues wagged. The usual college gossip, you know. But anything to do with naval battles, he's your man.
Yeah, of course.
Randall? Terry! Where have you been hiding this term?
Dining out a great deal.
I was asking for you in the King's Head the other day. They said they haven't seen you for 3 weeks. And how are your parents keeping?
Talos vase? Where did you come across that?
On a T-shirt. Well, on half a dozen T-shirts, actually. Now, the point is, I knew what it was, but it's years since I read anything along those lines. What's its significance?
Ah, well, you've come to the right man.
So I'm told.
I've actually done quite a bit of work on it recently. I don't know if you heard of our symposium in Greece last year.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
It was quite an event. Very exciting for those of us working in that field. A symposium on ancient Greek seamanship. Lectures, film shows, a lot of talk, you know, kind of thing. But for me, the most thrilling things of all were the reconstructions.
What do you mean, scale models?
Oh, no. Real thing. Life size. Fully operational.
And when was this, you say?
Last summer, in Piraeus. It was the first attempt to bring together all the reconstructed ships of antiquity in one place. We had the Pentaconta, the Argo, quadriremes and quinquiremes, and of course the trireme, which is my particular love child.
So where does the vase come in?
Okay. Behind the 3 figures on that vase is part of the stern of a ship, the trireme. It was one of several clues that led the first scholars to the final design. A bit like your line of work, I suppose. All trace of the vessel had been lost. We had to piece it together from this and that. Excuse me.
So, were you saying they reconstructed the whole boat from a sketch on a vase?
No, there was also a phrase in Plato, a sketch on a relief, a reference in Aristophanes to farting in the face of the chap rowing beneath you.
Well, there would be, wouldn't it?
Not much to go on, but put all the clues together. All this was described in the film we made. That might have been what you saw. We had to popularize it a good deal, but the result wasn't really as shameful as it might have been.
He's not boring you with that old boat again, is he?
No, not at all.
Coffee?
Thank you.
You only have to mention triremes and he'll talk a gramophone to scrap. You better circulate, Randy, dear.
Your husband suggested that scholarship is not unlike my game.
The police?
The CID. You blunder along in the dark, looking for a glimmer to light the way.
Well, at the risk of disloyalty, it sounds a lot more lively than Greek-oared ships.
I'm sorry, I've never seen one of your programs. I hear they're very good.
They seem to help people.
I understand it's as much by being what you are as what you say.
Well, I try. Some of it's bound to be a bit of a performance, of course, but one part is absolutely genuine. Randall and I. You married, Inspector?
No.
I recommend it.
So I understand.
Well, I saw you were granted an audience with a TV star.
She's charming.
No question. Millions are charmed by her every Saturday. Poor Terry, he's been very bored by Randall's attentions, I thought.
Never give up, do you, Jerome? So, a very agreeable evening, as always. My turn next.
Good luck with your murder.
Old vessel put together in a rare time. 2 words, 1-7.
Well, if you already know the answer.
It's a kind of mental jogging, Lewis. Good for you.
A trireme.
Very good, Lewis. Anagram of rare time. How did you know?
Oh, I saw a film about it on the telly. Well, I was on duty. Valerie videoed it for me.
Part of your Greek culture course? You still got it?
I doubt it. Kids tape over everything.
Seems the dead man had no form.
It sounds almost philosophical, Lewis. Formless, was he?
Lived a very quiet kind of life, according to everybody we spoke to. Hardly ever went out of here except to work. He was saving all his money to keep the family firm going.
Which was failing.
Right. But it wasn't true that he wanted to learn English. He'd already worked a whole summer season here at a hotel in Devon.
Had he?
Owned by a bloke called Tuckerman. Bit of a dodgy customer by the sound of him.
What about the sister?
Oh, she worked for Tuckerman too. She's expected over from Greece for her brother's funeral.
Maria.
Τίνο. Τι μας βρήκε, Τίνο μου?
Ξέρω, μάνα μου. Πέρασε κάπου.
Από πού?
Μακάριστε και αείμνηστε αδερφέ ημών Νικόλαε. Αιωνία σου η μνήμη αξιομακάριστε και αείμνηστε αδερφέ Νικόλαε. Αιωνία σου η μνήμη αξιομακάριστε και αείμνηστε αδερφέ ημών Νικόλαε.
I was surprised they decided to bury him in England.
I don't think they could afford to take him back to Greece.
She must have been very fond of her brother. She's weeping buckets.
We show our feelings more than you do.
Never seen a Greek tragedy, Lewis?
Oh, I saw Zorba. And never on a Sunday.
I'll have to come and question Maria later today.
Can't you leave it till tomorrow? If I could gain her confidence, she might tell me something. You would frighten her.
I don't like to think of her alone here in this state.
She's not alone. Just look at them all.
Just the same. You could see no harm comes to him.
Good morning, Chief Inspector.
Morning.
I owe you an apology. Over being bloody-minded when you wanted Dino's help.
Oh, that was nothing.
I do take a pride in my restaurants.
Even though Greek's not among the great cuisines of the world?
Like English, exactly. I prefer to eat French, myself. But our best food is better than most foreigners think, and we should be proud of it. I have been trying to give my fellow Greeks a sense of national pride, ever since I discovered how some foreigners regard us.
How is that, do you think?
As Dagos, Levantines, a third world country on the fringe of Europe.
That's not a view that an educated man would take.
An educated man, Can I offer you a lift, Chief Inspector? An educated man, in England, for example, always makes a clear distinction between the glory that was Greece and the mess it is today. There were the Athenians, and now there are the savages who replaced them, who aren't even capable of looking after their own antiquities.
I thought it wouldn't be long before we got round to the Elgin marbles.
Last time I was at the Acropolis, a guide said to our party in a very loud voice, "Greece has two enemies, the Turks and Lord Elgin." I said, "Good God, that was nearly 200 years ago."
Yes, and they're still in the British Museum. Believe me, Chief Inspector, attitudes haven't changed. Let me give you an example. I have been involved in a scheme to reconstruct the most famous boats of ancient Greek history.
Oh, you mean the symposium at Piraeus last year?
Some of them were there, yes. I had forgotten your interest in the classics. The point is that those boats are part of our history, our heritage. But that is not good enough for some. There was this man at the event, Tuckerman.
Digby Tuckerman?
Yes. You know him.
And his name?
Well, as you're a policeman, I am not surprised. An unsavory character with a reputation for some very questionable business methods. He's ruined a few people in his time. Tuckerman now fronts a leisure group making historical theme parks. He's trying to bring one of the reconstructed boats to this country to decorate his tacky sideshow. He'll have actors running around in sailors' costumes with parrots on their shoulders shouting, "Sure, my timbers," I shouldn't be surprised. A vulgar travesty. He says money is no object. But my sources tell me that his financial basis is... he's a man of straw. He is nothing.
You don't like him?
No. No. I don't have the appetite for him. But more than that, I don't like the idea that the treasures of our past are only there to be plundered for personal gain and self-aggrandizement. The old imperialist ethic that inspired Lord Elgin hasn't disappeared, Chief Inspector. It's just assumed a new guise.
I.M.G.B.G settlement.
Thank you for seeing me. It is a pretty hairy moment for me, actually, so I hope it won't take too long.
I hope so, too.
Can I take your coat?
Thank you.
Would you like a drink? Tea, coffee, mineral water, scotch?
Scotch and water, please. So, what branch are you in? The Mets?
Thames Valley, CID.
Could have saved yourself a trip. I live near Oxford.
Yes, I uncovered that information. So this is your London office?
I rent it by the day. They're used by accountants and solicitors from out of town to impress the punters. Costs an arm and a leg, but if you're trying to get a project off the ground, it's the right ambiance.
And that's what you're doing at the moment?
No secret. I hope not anyway, after all I've spent on hype. Yeah, I've formed a consortium to build the first of a chain of marine theme parks.
And bring over a Greek ship?
Right.
Think they'll let you?
No question. Well, one or two very touchy people think it'll be the end of civilization if I do. The send home the marbles lobby. Wouldn't you think they'd simply jump at the chance to show it abroad? Oh, think of the media blitz there'd be.
Perhaps they're afraid they'll never get it back.
The Frog's got the Mona Lisa back after it'd been to New York.
The Italians didn't.
But I mean, our scholars did the spade work. It was designed here.
But paid for by the Greeks.
I guess you didn't come all the way from Oxford to discuss Greek-owned ships.
I'm investigating the murder of Nikos Kaparis.
Saw it in the local rag. Poor guy.
As you say, poor guy. Thanks. Were you in or around Oxford at about 6 on Monday evening?
Better bring in my organizer, Laura. Thanks.
He was your sous chef at the Golden Fleece?
About 2 years ago, yeah.
Why did he leave?
Well, the Golden Fleece got into deep trouble. Don't ask me why. Too upmarket for South Devon, perhaps. Anyway, I had to close it. Nico and his sister went back to the family business in Piraeus, no worse off. The receiver took over what was left.
Not for the first time.
No, afraid not. If you're a high flyer among oiks...
The cash and carry, the yacht fitting business, the disco, the Spanish restaurant. In fact, a trail of port of enterprises all along the south coast. And every time some oiks had to pick up the pieces, well, you swanned off to a new place and a new disaster.
Now listen, there's nothing sticking to me from all that. I'm clean. Right. Monday, early evening, was it?
6 o'clock-ish.
I was in a meeting with a Mr. Saeed Akbar.
Oh, that was for 4:30. Plenty of time to drive to Oxford after that.
He didn't leave until close on 6. Ask my secretary. Ask my wife. She'll tell you. I didn't get home till after 8.
And you haven't seen Nikos since your hotel went bust?
Well, I knew he was back working over here.
For your friend Vasilakis. And you didn't bump into him or his sister at that maritime symposium?
They were in Piraeus. I was mostly in Athens, moving in very different circles.
So?
This is the time of the high flyers, Inspector. Only the brain dead stay on the ground.
Ever heard of Icarus?